Back again, missed a day. I think yesterday would have been a week. Today is Thursday. It's about 1:30 in the afternoon. It's kind of a different time for me. Usually, of course, I do this in the wee hours of the morning. But lately, I've been sleeping through the wee hours. I didn't get up this morning until 3 a.m. And I didn't, from my dialysis yesterday, and I didn't feel like it. But anyway, I want to start right off a little politicking today. I heard something on the radio today that just thrilled me to death. Now, you folks know that I'm a Democrat, and I voted for Obama. Anybody that's been listening over a period of time knows that I'm not all that thrilled with all the things he's done. I wish there was another Democrat in there, somebody that acted a little more like a Democrat. I kind of have to acknowledge that for whatever reason, under his tutelage, the economy seems to be picking up. Price of houses, which went in the tank back in 08, 09, they're at, I think, an all-time high, and climbing. Stock market is at an all-time high. Even employment is starting to come back, which is good. Is Obama responsible for all these marvelous things? I don't know. But it doesn't matter. He's done some things, or had some things go on during his administration that I'm certainly not nuts about. This business with the IRS checking on the conservative social welfare groups. I think that's against the law. I don't think that was supposed to happen. As to whether he actually, walked out the IRS office and said, hey, let's keep close tabs on these guys, the teabaggers and whatnot, let's put a bind on them. I don't know if that happened or not. If it did, then whatever comes. Whatever should happen to him should happen to him. But I don't believe that happened. I think there's some overzealous supporters of his that were. There was a union that was involved in the IRS, which I was a labor guy my whole life, but we all know that union organizations will tend to be very zealous about their political affiliations. So there was a union involved in the IRS women employees. It was not entirely possible that they kind of cooked this up on themselves. I will say that he did the right thing. He asked for the resignation of the director, and got it. And let me see what else is going on. There's a bunch. I mean, they've got that Benghazi thing. I heard from pretty good source that the thing in Benghazi was not a consulate. It was like a CIA black operation. It was I forget what they call it, and the ambassador was just happened to be there. And the premise that I heard was that that's why they tore the place up and killed the people, was because it was a IRS a CIA black operation, and the locals didn't like it, so they went down, burned the place down. Of course, they took their RPGs and their AK-47s, and all their modern equipment to do it. There's some question as to whether, when they called for help, if they were ignored, overlooked, told, hang on, we'll be there in a while. I don't know what happened. That, I suspect, will rinse down too. Anyway, my man Obama, economically wise, he appears to be doing pretty good. I haven't seen any figures where the middle class income has gone up, but most of the indicators about economic growth and whatnot are on the upgrade. And it's on his tour, so I guess we'll give him credit for it. I want to show you something here. It's a pretty simple little gizmo. See that little light bulb? I have a desk lamp here to my left. It would be to your right, but I have a desk light, and this little bulb goes in there. Now, most little bulbs like this have a real teeny little bottom on them. This one doesn't. And of course, if you'll observe, it's not a regulation size. There's about half regulation size, and about half again the teeny size. You can't find this puppy. Now, I think I have located it on the web, but I went to Dollar General, I went to Wally World, I went everywhere, and that sucker doesn't exist. I don't know where I think I bought one at Dollar General here a year or two back. But they're not stocking them now. And that is an unusual little booger, 120 volts, or 120 volts, 40 watts, and then that Jake little bottom on it. That's the problem. That won't fit anything that I've got. So, and I think they want $10 for that little puppy. One light bulb, incandescent light bulb, probably because it's so bloody unusual. Anyway, that's a little dab of complaining and bitching that I feel right about that. That you sell a desk lamp, you ought to be able to go get a bulb for it. Seems reasonable. I want to comment. I watched one of Ike's videos, one of his trucker rag chews, and in there he made the comment that everybody seems like now in the whole world thinks that they have to party or have a good time all the time. They gotta be just happy, happy, happy. Well, as you and I both know, the world is not a totally happy place. Into every life, what do they say? Around every little cloud, there's a little dark, or inside of every silver lining, there's a little dark cloud. Well, it's you have your ups and downs. But it does seem like, particularly in my country, there are people I know now that watch this outside the United States. But it does seem like in the United States that everybody's hell-bent. They've got to be happy and dancing and prancing and partying all the time. And I think it's bad. I watch, no, I don't. I have watched short little snippets of some of the things that we have on TV. Most of the time I spend on the computer anymore, watching YouTube and educational stuff, political stuff. But on television, like Dancing with Stars, that's an excuse. That's a strip show. I mean, you watch the gals come out there prancing their stuff. I mean, they're about 3/4 undressed, things slid up to their hips, and they're kicking and going on, and I don't know. I don't see the merit in it. It's one of the most popular shows on American TV right now. Everybody watches it. They advertise it. I mean, you can turn on your TV, and in the middle of the news, they'll be commenting on who's going to win tonight's version of Dancing with Stars. Is Sally going to be thrown out? Is Sally and George going to be thrown out? Like I care. Evidently, a lot of people do. It's part of that party attitude that I'm talking about. Happy, happy, happy. Leads me to believe there must be a lot of unhappy people with low self-esteem. If they can't bring happiness up from within themselves. Don't get me wrong. I'm not, blowing and going in that I'm, all self-sufficient and all that stuff. But as a rule, I don't need too much outside stimulation to, make my day. I learned years ago my day would go as I set it up and did it, and if I was going to be happy, it would come from within me. And I don't know how we're going to get the American public to go back to that. That was the way it was when I was a young man coming up. I mean, nobody had to. I didn't have to watch TV to make me happy. I didn't have to have video games. I mean, this is a entertainment generation, and I think it's a shame. I remember when I was a kid. It wasn't because I was poor. I like to think maybe I was creative. We used to play cowboys and Indians. We didn't always have a toy gun to play with. You get a stick. It was about the right shape, trim that thing off. Kill, 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 And we were just having a blast. You'd have thought we'd have had, those the other guys I was always cowboys. I've never played the Indian. Bang, you're dead. I am not. Bang, you're dead. Well, anyway, we entertained ourselves. We didn't need video games. We didn't need television. We just went out, milled amongst the critters and the wildlife and the woods, and we were in general. Of course, we weren't always happy. We stubbed our toe. We cried. George up the street was picking on us, but that was just part of life. And we learned to, cope with life. There was always ups and downs, and Bud West used to beat me up weekly. Of course, I used to try to get at him as best I could, but Bud was tough. Bud, he was our village tough guy. I won't say bully, because I'm an adult now, but Bud used to knock me silly just on a regular. I guess just say he could. I don't know, but that was just part of growing up. I didn't like it, but it didn't mature me into an adult where I had to have some kind of entertainment 24 hours a day. Anyway, enough of that. I've been telling stories, things that happened to me. I was going to do one here, and I outlined the thing. There it is. Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, that was a big deal once upon a time. It ain't that big a deal anymore. I mean, if they happen to catch you, it's a big deal. But if somebody steals your car, they don't even go out and try to find them. Well, once again, back when I was in the military, this is 50 years ago. My gracious. I had a buddy, Leonard Sackett. Still have a buddy, Leonard Sackett. He's out in California. I had another buddy. His name was Al St. Louis. Kind of a unique name. And Leonard didn't have a car at the time, but I had a car. Al had a car. This was in the early 60s, and Al had a 56 Buick Special hardtop. Now, if you're from my generation, and you remember the cars, you know that a 56 Buick Special hardtop was a pizzazz automobile. It was a nice car. So if you got the opportunity to cruise the women, you always cruised in the nicest car you could because you scare up the girls. And if you got this nice Buick, then there's a leg up. So Al had the car, and I remember he had to go in the hospital. And he says, while I'm in the hospital, you want to use the car? Yeah, boy, oh boy. So Al's in the hospital. Me and Leonard, we put on our best baby trucker. Boy, here we go. Now we're riding high. We're gonna get lucky because we got such a good car. So we're in Abilene, Texas. We go to town in this red and black. I remember the steering wheel was small. They used to make steering wheels real thin, and they had little knobs on the other side. They fit your hand. They felt so good. It was really slick. So me and Leonard go to town in this 56 Special. We went out to Impact, Texas. Abilene was dry, unless you knew some bootleggers. But there was a little precinct on the perimeter of Abilene. It was called Impact, Texas, and it had all it was a liquor store and a couple of house trailers. But you could go out there and get your booze. So me and Leonard went out there and we bought a polyurethane cooler and a couple of 6-packs of beer, iced them down, and then put it in the back seat. Of course, in this hardtop, so you just reach over the back seat, get you one. We drove around, and we didn't get lucky. We drove around the whole night. Up one street, went to all, used to cruise the drive-ins. This was what you did, when you park, sit there, puff out your chest, look at the girls, We didn't have any look at all, car or no car. Just wasn't our night. But we were sipping those cool ones, driving around. Time passed, and about 2 in the morning, we're cruising down this one street, I remember, and the street passed under another street. Had an underpass that went under. There's nothing to that. It's just where we were. And we went down into that underpass, and all of a sudden I look up in the mirror, and the lights are going. No, we weren't speeding. Nothing. So we pull over in the underpass. Cop comes up. Hi, boys. How you doing? I have a good time, officer. We weren't drunk, or at least not in those days. They weren't nearly as harsh on young guys that had a few in those days. It wasn't a revenue generator. He was just making a check. Let me see your driver's license, your insurance, your registration. Well, actually, I said, here's my driver's license, but this is another fellow's car. I don't have the registration on it. I don't think I did. Might have been in the glove box. I don't remember. It's been 50 years. But anyway, he said, whose car belonged to? I said, Al St. Louis. Okay. Left us, walked back to his car. About 3-4 minutes, he come back up. He said, you gentlemen get out of that car for me? My goodness. Yeah, sure. Get out, she's come back here. Once again, we're sitting in the back seat of the squad car with the wire cage in front of us. My gracious, what is this? Pretty soon another patrol car pulls up with two cops in it, and they get in the Buick, and me and Leonard are in the Caribbean. Now we got two patrol cars in the Buick, and we're headed to the police station. Isn't this interesting? Well, anyway, they take us down to the Abilene PD, and they take us. I remember we get out of the car. They didn't cuff us or anything. They took us down this flight of stairs into the cellar, into this room, and now we're sitting there. And of course, all manner of things are passing through your mind. What in the blue places are we doing here? Why? Well, a little while, this big, burly cop comes in. He sits down. He said, who'd you say that car belonged to? I said, fell out at the base, Al St. Louis. He says, what does the Al stand for? Alvin? Aloysius? I said, I don't know. It's just Al to me, He says, well, we have a problem. He says, that car's not registered to Al St. Louis. It's in a Chicano's name. Holy smokes, we got you boys on Grand Theft Auto. Oh, mercy. Boy, you talk about sobering up. I mean, boy, you're alert also. Grand Theft Auto those times they used to put you away for 10 years. I said, whoa, wait a minute, whoa, no, Al's in the hospital out there at the base. That's why you just let us borrow the car. And I said, call the hospital. Well, we bandied back and forth about Al's name. What was it? Alvin Aloysius, Alfred, what was it? Who knew? I mean, he's always been Al St. Louis to me. This evidently sounds pretty lame to the cops. So, I finally got this guy. I remember Leonard dead. I used to smoke Pall-Malls. For those of those that remember the big red pack, long suckers, terminal nicotine and tars in them suckers. I mean, boy, I was smoking. Leonard didn't smoke. Leonard said, give me one of them cigarettes. Gave him a cigarette. He had made himself sick, but he was trying to calm his nerves down. Anyway, we finally got this guy to call the hospital. Hospital wouldn't wake Al up. No, he's in yada 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 ward. oh Lord Almighty, what are we gonna do? We're gonna go, we're gonna be up there in the Crossbar Hotel here just shortly. Anyway, then we said, you're in the military, you're head sergeant in your particular outfit. I was an engineer. It's called the first shirt. I said, man, call our first shirt Sergeant Starks. And for some reason, I had Sergeant. I must have had a history of getting my fat Bobo out of trouble because I had Sergeant Starks' phone number on me. I said, here, call this guy. So he did. And we got Starks out of bed at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, which made him extremely happy. And this guy says, we got two of your boys down here. They got a car. They don't know where they got it. I'm going, wait a minute. I know where I got it. I know where I got it. And this guy was determined that he was going to lock us up. Well, anyway, large and small of it is that Sergeant Starks came down. I don't know whether he signed off on us, what he did, vouched for us, But he took us home with our Grand Theft Auto Buick. I think he vouched for the fact that there was an individual called Al St. Louis, and he did own that Buick, and they bought it. But to say the evening was very exciting, it was. Closest I ever came to going to jail, and my dad, my foster father, was the county sheriff. Can you even imagine me calling him up, say 5 a.m., say, hey, dear old dad, send me bail money. What are you doing? Well, I'm in jail. It would not have been a happy time. Didn't happen. Anywho, let's see if I got anything else here that's worth talking about. Got something I can't read once again. Oh yeah. People trying to lose weight. Everybody's in this country pretty well overweight. I'm constant. I weigh between 195 and 200, and I've weighed that 40 years. There have been instances where I went up a little over that, but pretty constant. So I don't know whether I'm overweight or not. I'm only 5'7". I'm not big boned. You ever hear fat people say, hey, I'm just big boned. I'm not big boned. But my family genetics, my mothers, my brothers, and everybody, they tend. In fact, I'm the smallest of the group. So I guess I'm doing all right. I'm at the weight that I've been for 40 years, and I'm 74. And as far as I can tell, most of my major systems are working properly, except for the kidneys. So I don't need to lose a lot of weight. But there's a lot of people in this country that do. And it's been my experience that the only way you can really lose weight is to be hungry. If you eat until you're comfortably full, you're either going to gain weight or you're not going to lose it. You're just going to stay the same. And it's also been my experience, the bigger you get, the hungrier you get. The larger you are. I know a friend of mine that's big. My guess is it takes 3,000-4,000 calories a day just to keep him at the weight he's at. Because when you're that large, you takes a lot. If he cut back to 2,000 calories, he'd lose weight. Anyway, there's a industry about weight loss, and in this industry, there's everything. I mean, they got chemical injections you can put in your leg. I mean, they're doing lap straps on stomachs. That seems to work pretty well for a while until they ate enough to stretch what's left of their stomach back out. They gain the weight back. But I saw a thing out on the highway. I saw a sign, a billboard alongside the highway. It was for hypnosis for weight loss. And I had this vision of this person that's overweight and this hypnotist. Watch my spoon. You chubby little beggar, watch the spoon. You're going to be thin. You're going to be thin. When I stop with this spoon, you're going to be thin. Can you even imagine? That's going to work. I'm sure that it's more involved in that, but, you know. Watch the spoon. Think thin. Yes. Horse hockey. The only way you lose weight is to cut out in your caloric intake. You can't do anything else. I mean, there are all kind of magic bombs out there. If you want to get skinny, you have to stop eating as much. I have had instances when I lost 15, 20 pounds. That's how I did it. I fasted. I had to get hungry and then just deal with it. Anyway, let's I went out to look at the tornado damage here at the town up the way. It wouldn't let us close enough to see anything. That was a bummer. Yeah, I've got some. I'm gonna save that. Gonna save that. Gonna save that. These are stories I'm gonna save for later. I'm gonna run out of stories, obviously. I mean, my poor old brain will only hold so much. Anyway, we're getting ready to go to Siegel North. 2 weeks. 15th. Today is the 30th, I think. 30th. Okay, 30. 2 weeks in a day. And we'll be on the road. The itinerary is such that I will dialysize in Nashville, Tennessee. Then I will dialysize in Columbus, Ohio. And then I will be at Siegel North, and I'll start dialyzing in Bradford, PA. So you guys up there in Siegel North, save me a spot around the table. I've probably done enough for today. That's not what I want. Hang on here. Yeah. I want to say hi to Brian, Crystal, my sons Kyle and Carl. And Kyle, I know you're essentially on your way down here to take my butt to New York. He can probably drive most of the way. Tracy, Richard Heights and Raider, if you're in there. Ike, Glenn, Daryl Mackey, Tyler, Jim Kersey, if you're watching. See you up there at Siegel North a couple of weeks. I'm looking forward to that. We'll go to Racers and get a king-size order of fries and a scoop of ice cream. Anyway, that's about it for now. I'll try to have something in another week. I missed it by a day. Sorry about that. I usually do a week at a time, but I'll only have one more here at home, and the next one will probably be on the road someplace between here and New York. So, you, all my friends, have a fine one.